Dreamer's life.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, guys? ADL here once again, and this is a Dreamer's Life podcast. And I'm here with the special guest, Skalpx, Milwaukee's own Alex the Great. Hey, thanks for stopping by at short notice, too.
No problem, man.
So, what's going on, man? What's new?
Nothing much, man. Just trying to, keep pushing out what I'm doing. Just keep moving on and getting people more aware of exactly what I do.
What is it that you do exactly?
So, it's called scalp micropigmentation. Other guys call it SMP. So it's a new form of a hair loss type of enhancement where we pretty much mimic like the hair follicles. It's in between like tattooing and what I'd say microblading. It's a little, it's a, I don't know, like a more perfected form, I guess. But it's a new technique that we use where we pretty much mimic the hair follicles, and for those that are receding, those who might have like are bald, dealing with baldness or dealing with thinning hair, even like no, hey, these looks good, man.
Yeah, thank you.
So I've this is like a new way to fill in those empty spots and to give it like more like a full touch, if a guy wants a hairline, that's the best part about it. We can do different type of hairlines, but it's just a new way of being able to fill in those empty areas, those bald spots that you've always wanted to cover or you always felt like self-conscious about,
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, what came first, microblading or the micropigmentation?
I believe microblading came way before.
'Cause I know before they used to like tattoo.
Yeah,
right?
it used to be tattooing. Like they used to actually like tattoo, fill it in. So now it's like they're using blades, like to actually do like the little hairlines or like the little hair follicles into the eyebrows.
Okay.
But I've been noticing that a lot of artists, like really good microblading artists, have been drifting off to using actual tattoo guns to actually do their work. So now they have like a form of like dot where they do like dot work to give it like this cool like fade. Like it could be dark into like a cool little fade that they bring to the front. I don't know if you've seen that before.
No, actually I haven't.
Yeah, see a lot of girls or people really don't know about that, but now it's like starting to get more into like a tattooing type of league, But I think it came before scalp micropigmentation for sure.
So but that ink that they use for that's a totally different ink. That's not the same as tattooing ink.
No. It's they use a different type of ink for sure. I think it's more like carbohydrated, and honestly, it's we could just say it's like the cousin of tattoo ink, but it's a more perfected form. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But the inks don't turn like a crazy color. They won't turn like that. If you're using a dark color, they won't turn like a green or a purple or like a blue over time. You know what I mean?
That's kind of scary.
So if you ever seen those old those old cholas. Those old girls that get, they shave the eyebrows off.
Yeah, well, that's
whole hoop.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You know how theirs looks nowadays. It's like, dude, it's like you got a little purple on your forehead. You know what I mean? So they've definitely perfected it. It made it a little more, more realistic, so to speak, for females to get the eyebrows. So a lot of females probably back then were like, man, I'm not getting my eyebrows tattooed. Seen worse cases and stuff like that. But now it's like it's gone to a level where they've perfected it and they've learned to actually make it look real, like realistic, like more natural,
Okay. But, how long have you been in the game?
I got into it about 4 years ago. I was at home pretty much. I was just at home buzzing through my Instagram, like, man, what I mean? Just looking through stuff, and I seen like a before and after picture. It had a dude that was like completely bald. And then next to him, it was like he had hair. He had like hair, but it was like a sequillo, like a nice little lineup.
Okay,
you know what I mean? He had this cool barber look, and I was just like, man, that's dope. So I clicked on it, especially looking for myself because my hair was thinning out, my hair was receding too. You can't tell because of the hat, but so I clicked on it and I seen it, and I was just like, man, this is cool. Like, what is it? And I looked at like the hashtags and stuff like that, and it was like hair tattoo, hair ink, and I was just like, wait, what? You know what I mean? So I clicked on the dude's page. Ended up being Gringo from Baby Rasta Gringo,
Okay, yeah, Baby Rasta Gringo, yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up being him. He's
for everybody who doesn't know, they're one of the first like Puerto Rican reggaeton duos, right? From back in the day.
Yeah, definitely.
Then actually, they're still around. So
yeah, they still do their thing. Yeah. But yeah, man, he's amazing. He did amazing work, and I was just like, dude, this guy's dope. You know what I mean? Like, this is dope. So I mean, I've always had an artistic form. You know, I've always thought, you know, I always liked art. You know, my guys always like, why don't you get into tattooing? And I'm like, I just don't like sitting there shading or spending that amount of hours, you know, doing like portraits or something like that. Like that just wasn't me. You know what I mean? But I knew hair. Like I got into, you know, I was barbering for a while, so I knew hair and then tattooing. I was just like, you know,
yeah, that explains it.
Yeah,
I mean the whole hair. I mean, you already knew how to fade.
Exactly. So it kind of just went hand in hand with me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I decided to try it out and took a class. Took a class in Chicago. It was like a 3-day seminar. And ever since then, I was just like, I did my first client, which was the scariest day of my life. Oh my gosh. It's scary because it's like when you're learning in the class, you don't have a person that you're doing it on. Or if you do it on a person, you have an instructor behind you the whole time talking to you. Like, this is how you should do it. But when you're doing it on your own, you have nobody to tell you, like, okay, this is the type of pink or pigment you should mix with or dilute it. You know, it's like, it starts, you know, I was sweating.
I bet.
Dude, it was the scariest day of my life.
It's permanent, right?
Yeah, it's permanent.
Or does it fade eventually?
It's permanent, but it does lighten up. It doesn't go away. It lightens up. So I can go like a nice darker pigment, but the thing is, like over time, like give it like 4 years, like any regular tattoo, how it fades out or it starts to lose like its type of color. Okay. But it doesn't go away. But it starts just to get real light, you know, to a point where it looks like almost even lighter than like a 5 o'clock shadow. You know what I mean? Like the lightest, kind of like how you have it on the top like that. Like that's the lightest it'll possibly go. You know what I mean? Which isn't bad. You know, you still look like you have the look. Yeah. Right. But yeah, I mean, it never, you know, it's permanent. It never goes away. You know what I mean? But yeah,
that's pretty cool. I mean, do you recommend it? For who do you recommend it the most?
So, see, this is like the biggest topic because you know there's guys that be like, man, I'm cool being bald. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is stupid. This is phony. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, okay, but this doesn't like, pertain to you. This doesn't, if it doesn't, you know, work with you, if you don't like it, that's on you. This is more for those who like those guys that been dealing with like they're embarrassed to be bald. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They had a whole thing.
Self-conscious.
Yeah. They had a whole thing of hair. That whole thing, and all of a sudden they start thinning their hair little by little. You know what I mean? And to the point where it's like, dang, now I gotta start buzzing my hair off. I wish I still had my lineup look. I remember I used to have a crispy old lineup. You know what I mean? Like those are the type of guys that are, you know what, the guy, pretty boys, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like the guys that want to keep their nice look, or even those like people that suffer from like alopecia. You know what I mean? People that have like alopecia problems where their hair doesn't grow in that spot, and they've been dealing with this since high school or something like that. Like it's a good filler because it camouflages and it actually goes well with that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but man, it goes to anybody. Like people, even like people that had hair transplants. There's a lot of hair transplants that are just, you know, they spend all that money for it not to work. So they sitting there like, man, like what the heck? You know, I spent $8 G's for nothing because my hair's not, or it grows some little pelitos. And it's like, you know what I mean? The Homer, I call it the Homer Simpson. You know, he got the little hairs that go out there, the long strands. So they have that, and they spend $8,000. Some guys do 2 times, go in like 2 sessions or 2 different procedures, you know, to get it done. It still doesn't work. So they come to me so I can fill it in, so I can give it like that nice density type of look. You know what I mean? Densify it so it actually looks a little more hair. But sooner or later, just like, you know, I'm tired of letting my little hairs grow. So I'm just gonna shave it. This looks good as it is. I'll keep this. Like a lot of them be like, man, I wish I would have knew about this 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So I spending all this money trying to do this and that, and now I'm stuck with nothing. Still, and I'm just like looking at them like, okay, so but if your hair is falling out for a reason, what makes you think a hair transplant's gonna work? If they're putting hair in this spot that your hair is falling out already, don't you think your hair is going to continue falling out from that area?
Know. Didn't it work on LeBron already?
See, LeBron cheats. LeBron got money. He can go every time he did that. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just a cost efficient thing too. Like a lot of people, like, you know, they a little worried about the cost. But
honestly, I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
It gets frustrating, you know, putting fibers in and whatnot. It gets frustrating.
Right.
That's why I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take it off. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, a lot of people have told me, "Oh, it looks better like that." And
right, yeah.
Which I'm like, I think it looks better when I have hair, but yeah, I mean, but it doesn't look bad. Right, I mean, it doesn't look as bad as I thought it would.
Right.
So I thought about the whole micropigmentation
Right.
and whatnot, but then I thought about it. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if it's for me.
See, exactly.
What do you guys think? You think I should get it?
Yeah. See, the thing is, it's like I said, it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? If you really want to have the actual hairline look, then do it. You know what I'm saying? It's something they can do. But a lot of people, if they're cool with having just that cool buzz look and the hair looks already nice with the buzz look, where you don't need, you know what I mean? Honestly, I feel like you wouldn't need like that much of a touch up or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because it looks good. It looks like it still looks like it's full. A lot of people they try to do the buzz look and they still have that shiny, 8-ball type of head. So they want to have at least that type of illusion where it has like that 5 o'clock shadow. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And that's honestly what I kind of recommend too. A lot of people want to have like that full. They want to go super dark because they want.
You don't recommend it dark.
No, you can't. Because if you think about it, your hair, it's a difference between your actual hair and ink. You know what I mean? There's a big difference, especially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like. People that want to go dark to try to match the hair, it's gonna get to a point where it's like, have you ever had like a black pen and you accidentally marked your finger and it's smeared on your finger and then it's a black pen, but you still see that purple. There's like that somewhat of a purple that lays on there, that residue. Well, it's kind of like that. Well, if you go super dark on a light complexion, you're gonna have that type of tone, and then when the light hits it, it's gonna get that weird shine where you're gonna see purple. You know what I mean? So our job as artists, we have to like make it or dilute the ink enough so you don't have that type of effect where it just if the light hits it, it still looks like those are like that looks like pelitos, like little stubbles.
It looks like a buzz. Yeah,
exactly, little stubbles. Now if you go darker than that and continue going darker than that, then that's where you're gonna have issues. You know what I mean?
So what is it that you guys do? Do you guys like do like little slits or lines, or do you guys do dots? You guys do little curves?
No, so we pretty much like how I'm gonna use him for an example, but you know how you have like little stubbles, because your hair looks like when you shave it that low, your hair has like these little dots, little circle stubbles in there. Mm-hmm. So our job is to kind of mimic those stubbles. You know what I mean? And those stubbles some of them are bigger, some are smaller, some are because hair follicles are all different sizes. So our job is to pretty much mimic that. So if you're an artist, you would understand like, okay, I got to kind of match this, so I'm gonna use different type of sizes of needles to get that same illusion, that same effect.
Okay. So it's just a one needle.
So it's we don't use like multiple needles. Like no, it's just one needle. We're doing legit dot for dot on you. We're not using a machine where you just here you go, sit there for a little bit. We're legit taking our sweet time trying to fade it into, because our goal is to have it look natural. So if you buzz your hair off, you don't have like this weird line that goes around your head. You don't want that. You know what I mean? You want it to look all even, all one tone. So our job is to do that, fill in those areas, on top of that spread them out so we can have that cool like fade or that blend in like the nice way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you do thicker dots and thinner dots, like when you do like a little fade?
Yeah, well, so with the fade, it's more like it's so the dots are spread out, and then to add density, you got to continue putting dots around it and in between them, But to give that fade look, you have to have a tighter amount of dots in a certain area, and then you got to make your own line or border, pretty much like how you do a fade. How you do that line around somebody's head with the trimmer, kind of like that. Like that's your guide mark where you start fading it out. So with us, we have to fade it out, like fade it lower. You know what I mean? Where we start spreading out the dots. So if you don't spread out the dots, you're not gonna get that fade look. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of hard. it's
I can imagine it. It's just it sounds difficult,
dude. So if you don't fade that line out, you're gonna be stuck with this huge line around your head, and you don't want that. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You definitely don't want that, especially for a person that loves getting fades. You get a fade, and man, now I'm stuck with this permanent line around my head. You know what I mean? Okay. That's the part where you have to actually like visualize it and start fading out at a certain area. Because if you don't fade it out that certain area, it's gonna look like this. Like if you like doing a bogus fade. You know what I mean? You ever see a barber or some haircuts where this fade's higher and this fade's like lower? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I have.
So that's the type of thing you want to like stay away from. Yeah.
So how long does it take? Like the process? Like how long does it take approximately?
Honestly, because I'm
like a first time client, not a touch up.
Yeah, so a first time client, first one that comes in, that first session, it takes about at least, I always say 2.5, 3, but I find myself taking about like 3, maybe 3.5 hours to do it. That's counted like in between times where, I have them chill out for a little bit, rest up, you know what I'm saying? Give it a chance to turn around and stand up and stretch. So it takes about like 3.5 hours. First session is always the longest one. It's more of a map. We're mapping it out, trying to figure it out, and then drawing the lineup. Deciding what kind of lineup you want, because that's the best part about it.
Difficult.
That is the most difficult, because we're trying to figure out. We're using measurements to figure out what side. You know what I mean? Make sure your corners are perfect. If you're getting like that barber type of look, we got to measure to make sure the corners are perfect. We got to use an actual measuring tool to do that. You know what I'm saying? For guys, even with buzzing, with guys that want the natural look too. Like honestly, that's harder than doing actual the barber edge look. Getting that fade and that natural look to get through, that's like a pain in the butt. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know. I thought that would be easier than actually doing a lineup, because you got to make the lineup perfect. But once you figure out a good template and how to like measure out perfectly from this area, from this side, like it's a walk in the park. But doing the fade and doing the natural look, like that right there is like, you don't want to do too many dots on one side, because now this side is going to have too many dots. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, honestly, be honest.
Dude.
You ever felt like you fucked somebody up?
Duh. Dude, this man.
That says it all.
There's times where it's just like, oh man. But it's just like, when situations like that happen, you gotta, that's where your artistic side comes out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I gotta make this right. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad for my dad. My dad, sorry, Pop, sorry. But my dad.
Oh yeah.
my dad was like my guinea pig, and I was blessed. He at least let me practice on him. So my dad, I kind of learned how to do like mixtures of colors. So I started off real light with him. You know what I mean? Just so I can't mess up. So if it doesn't stick, it goes away. You know what I mean? So I was just getting real light, and then I was practicing needle sizes with him too. So sometimes some dots where I was just like, oh man, like I had my mommy send me a picture of Puppy's head, She'd say, I'd be like, damn, like, but so that's why that's why I went back to like kind of like the drawing board. Like, okay, what am I have to do now to make this right? Make this look good. So from there, I started like building up, and I started figuring out what needles work best. Because that's another thing too, people don't understand. You got to figure out what needle works best on a person's scalp, because everybody's skin is different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some needles work amazing, and other needles just like you keep hitting that skin, it's just like doesn't leave anything, doesn't leave any dots. I remember another guy, JP from Flashy Faded. Shout out to you.
Oh yeah.
He was like another person that his skin was so thick. So I was trying to hit a dot, and it wasn't even going in. So I bought like 4 or 5 different type of needles, really good needles, from the company that I usually get it from, and I had to figure out which one was the best and which one left the best mark until I found that one. You know what I mean? So I was probably like stabbing the crap out of his head, but he didn't feel it. Like, he was numb. But going back to my dad. But I used my dad as like a guinea pig, like my drawing board, where I figured out which needles work the best, which needles leave the best marks, which needle, what I'm saying, if I have a difficult time in this area with like the colors and pick stuff out, like I know which way to spread them out. Because one thing people don't get either is like, oh, you're just doing dots on somebody's head. Okay, yeah, I'm just doing dots on somebody. Yeah. But they don't see this. The fact is, if you don't spread the dots out the right amount of like spread, and you just focus on a certain, it's gonna be one area on the scalp that's gonna be super dark compared to the rest of the area. You know what I'm saying? If you start focusing, to pay too much attention to one area, this could be one dark, almost like a
patch,
like a dark patch right here, but then everything else looks. Yeah, nice and spread out. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of things they have to take into consideration when doing this. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, thank my dad, because I mean, he was kind of like the first one. I was just like, damn, like I messed up. I think it's just my dad. My dad wear a hat anyway, but my dad's like one of the top guys that be out there like, look at my son doing my hair. Right. You know what I mean? I'd be like,
school ass dad.
Like, thank God I figured out how to do this, because I fixed him up and made it look. Now it looks. You remember seeing how my dad came out? Looks good. Now it looks dope. So I was just like, dude, thank you, man. But yeah, I mean, there's situations like that. The harder people are like light skinned people too, because you can't go. It's not like African Americans where you can just pick a nice dark tone.
Yeah.
And be good with that, set with that.
With them, you actually have to, with darker skin, you actually have to go, you can go dark.
Yeah,
right?
you can go dark. It's just that you can't go too dark. That's the thing about people understand. You can't go too dark even with them either, because it's going to look like a Sharpie on their forehead. You know when they do
Even I mean, even if you spread it out, you know.
See, but that's the thing. You have to spread it out with them. You know what I mean? You have to spread it out. But things you can't go too dark even when you spread it out because either way, it's still gonna look like a Sharpie on their forehead. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like almost like somebody does a really bad job using that beam. You know, guys.
Oh yeah.
You ever see guys like, dude,
yes,
bro,
yes,
I've
witnessed.
you over exaggerated with that beam. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that. So you have to like figure out ways to make it look as natural, but make it look dark at the same time. You know. But yeah. So
do you do microblading also?
No. That's an avenue I've been trying to tap into. You know what I'm saying? It's just a little difficult too because it's like I don't know how it is for females. You know, I don't know if they'll trust a guy to do their eyebrows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same way as the female. Like, you know, some girls have a hard time, or some guys have a hard time, like having a girl barber cut their hair. You know what I mean? Even if the girls don't.
I'll tell you something. I know some
Yeah.
female barbers that
Dude,
cut
they're
way better
sick.
than I do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's some sick barbers out there that are females, but there's still guys that be like, I ain't gonna let that girl touch my hair. You know what I mean? That's just how they are. So that's how I've always taken it as, and why I haven't decided to do like microblading, because there's other things they can do with that too. There's people doing what is that, like scar camouflages or stretch marks. You know, females have babies.
Oh yeah.
And then you get a stretch mark on their bellies or whatever, or they lose weight. There's like ways to camouflage that they're doing now.
Oh wow, that's
the same type
cool.
of stuff. Yeah. What else? Like cancer, like breast cancer. Females, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So now they're starting to draw like the actual, like the nipple and stuff like that. So there's different things like I can like tap into that kind of go correlate with what I do. You know what I mean? I just haven't decided yet if I'm comfortable enough to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, I know hair. I've been barbering for 12 plus years. So I know how a hairline should look. I know how to make it look natural. I know if it looks like a nice fade or not. You know what I mean? Like I know that. But
you ever done like micro pigmentation on a woman?
I have. I've done one on. It was actually she was my first female, Jelly Sosa.
Oh yeah.
Jelly, amazing hairstylist. She's amazing.
She is
pretty awesome. She's really dope. But yeah, she was like the first female that actually let me. I was just like, word, like, you know what I mean? And I was nervous. I was scared.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, I was scared because it's just like it's different. Okay, so female, when you're doing their edge ups type of thing, it's not like a guy where I can start from that.
Different. Right?
It's not like a guy where I can start from that line that I drew on him and go back. With females, you can't do that because they don't have. You can't get. What's gonna be a girl with a lineup like that? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? So with them, it's like I had to start from the hair and go out, like start fading out. That way, it was nice and filled in, but it didn't give that mark, that dark. You know what I mean? That dark. Defined hairline type of thing. So it was difficult. It was a challenge, but I mean, I still managed to just knock it out, and I was excited about it. I was like, okay, cool. If I can get this done, So a lot
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
So a lot of females think they still have no idea about it either.
Yeah.
You know what I
the
mean?
thing is, I actually looked some up. And, I seen that some women had gotten that before,
definitely.
And I was like, oh, that's pretty
it works.
cool. I had no idea that women could actually get it too.
Right, yeah.
And not that they couldn't get it, it's that they would get it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd expect them to be a little more biased to it.
Exactly.
Like,
See, that's what I'm saying. So they'll be like really biased about that, but I think it looks amazing on some females. Some females, they're thinning out in the middle, when they part their hair and stuff like that.
Yes.
It's like really thin. They can get it there to get it filled. You know what I mean? I still don't know how.
Women, go check them out.
Yeah, definitely. Don't be scared. I need more women to come in and get it done. That'd be amazing. It's like I don't know how it would look if they're like a female that gets their hair dyed a lot. That might be an effect. Might be a little different for them because we're mimicking the roots of somebody's hair. So a female would be more mimicking her roots. You know what I mean? But at that time, I don't think a female would be down to even get her hair. I don't know.
What about if like somebody like a redhead or a blonde, would come in? Is there like red ink or is there blonde ink?
See,
like,
no.
How does that? How would that work? How would you blend in that dark, that black purple ink into blonde hair or into like a ginger's head?
Right. So with those type of clients, a lot of them. I always prefer them to buzz their hair low. If they want to do like a filler, it's a little harder just because sometimes we have to match it with the roots. So sometimes the ginger's roots are pretty dark. Like when you go deeper in there, they're pretty dark. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But like when they're shaved down, like kind of like how you have it, it's always that like what tattoo artists call gray wash. They call it a gray wash. It always has that gray wash type of look to it. You know what I mean? So we kind of try to match it to that. So we don't have like a red or a blonde type of color that we really work with. You know, just I don't know. I've never had to deal with the client that had that. I've had a client where his hair was more like what they call a dirty blonde.
Okay.
You know, dirty blonde is like a different type of color tones in there. So it worked out perfectly fine with him. You know, and his hair was long. You know,
nice.
But if you're bald and you legit want to get it filtered like that, and then you're like a super blonde, it's not gonna work too well unless you buzz your hair lower. You know what I mean? But.
And approximately how much are the prices on that? Or do the prices vary, on the hair? Like if it's a blonde person, if it's a brunette or, black hair?
No, well the prices depend on the amount of area that I have to fill in. So if you have a full scalp, you know what I'm saying, obviously the price is going to be a little higher than somebody that just has like just the keynous or something like that. Okay. But price ranges, sometimes they go from $750, can shoot all the way up to like $3,000. This all depends on how much area I have to, and then on top of that, how big the dude's head is, because some guys got some, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, man, some of these guys got some big old domes. So I'm a man. But so I have guys that come in, like guys that have had hair transplants, and their scalp is so difficult, like their head's been so beat, like the skin on the top of their head is so beat up that when it like heals up, it's super strong. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's really hard. So those guys, I have to charge a little more because that's more time. Because I take more sessions dealing with those guys than I do just doing like a regular client sometimes. You know what I mean? So instead of doing like the 3 normal sessions I would normally do, I'd probably almost do like 5 sessions on them. You know what I'm saying? Because just because it's like that's how hard it is sometimes to get that needle to go deep to a point where it's like it sticks there. You know what I'm saying? Because the needle doesn't go as deep as a tattoo needle would. You know what I mean? There's like a certain depth that we hit. We can't go past that mark just because if we go past that mark, it's gonna leave like a big old glob, like what we call blowouts. A tattoo artist call blowouts.
It's not like splash, like
it's like legit, like it's like goo like inside your skin. So it's like a big old glob instead of a dot. There's like a glob in there. Okay. And so when guys do that are unexperienced, they do stuff like that. That's what gives it that nasty color, that nasty purple, or you know what I mean?
Green.
But yeah, when they say, some guys' scalps look like it's like green or purple, and I'm like, well, that's because they're doing blowouts. They're not doing legit dots on the guys' heads. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I've had a couple clients where they've gone to different places, like Chicago or wherever they go to. You know what I'm saying? Right. And they come to me and they're like, can you fix this? And I'm like, dang, what's dude using? Like,
you ever seen some house made ones? Like
what? Yeah, dude. No, my gosh, man. Like I've seen some bogus ones where they were just like, I was like, what, did they do this in the dark? Were they using? What were they using on you, man? Like
were they using like regular tattoo guns and
so
stuff?
they were using like needles were different. They weren't using the right needle, the proper needles. Okay. And then the inks, they weren't diluting the ink enough where it should give it that nice tone. So they're probably just going smack from the black right into the scalp. And you can't do that. You have to dilute it enough where that's another thing too. That's a whole math thing right there. You got to dilute it to a point where it's just like, okay, I know if I dilute this amount, it's gonna come out this color tone. And there's guys that went different places where it just looks like they just used a mop on their head type of thing. And I'm like, that was done with a needle? Like how is that even? You know what I mean? Like, but so those guys try to, and I feel bad because sometimes I can't help them. You know what I mean? And I try to, I do any way possible. I'll think of any way possible. Okay, how can I make this work? How can I make this work? And then it's to the point where I can't help you. So the next way is, if you really want to get this done, you gotta get your head lasered, like laser, man, tattoo removal. So and that right there is like a pain in itself. You know what I'm saying? That sucks. So they gotta pay for that. They gotta pay for that nasty job they got done on them. On top of that, they gotta pay to get it removed. So I'm gonna pay another amount for me to for me to fix it. You know what I'm saying? There's guys that come to me like, oh, can you fix this? Like it didn't stick, and I charge them like I'm gonna charge you like I'm doing the whole thing over again because technically I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they'll be like, oh, but it's already done. Like you won't have to do a lot of work. Player, I gotta fix that for you. Like I gotta, you know what I mean? I gotta figure out a way to fix that for you. You know what I'm saying? You would have came to me in the first place instead of being cheap about it. We wouldn't have this issue. You know?
So does it start at a set rate?
I've started doing like a set rate. You know what I'm saying? Where you know I try to do I try to like make it work for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Not everybody is charged the same way. I've had guys hit me up like, well, you charge so and so this much, and you charging me this. Well, you are more bald than that guy, so that's why I'm charging you what I'm charging you. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
you know, or I've had guys try to have me like, oh, well, you think you can do it for this? I'm looking at them like, no, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't.
I can cut your hair for that,
right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm not. You know, I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that. You know, and then I got people like, oh, I got this bill to pay. I got to be paying this type of bill, and I'm like, okay, what about my bills? I got bills to pay. I got, you know what I mean? I got the equipment ain't cheap. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely.
You know the stuff, the needles I buy ain't cheap.
If barbering equipment ain't cheap,
right.
I can just imagine, you know, tattooing.
Exactly. So, you know, I got to pay for that. So just in case if my machine or, God forbid, my machine or something like that messes up, what we going to do?
How much does one of those machines run you?
So I ended up getting like this really good machine. It's from FK Iron. They're like a tattoo company.
Okay.
They do like really good rotary machines, like a pen. It's like that big. Really, really nice. I paid about like $750 for it. But man, it's amazing. It lasts hours. Like it's
okay,
dude. It was worth it. It was like the $700. Like it was the best thing I ever did. You know what I mean? And then like needles and stuff like that. Buying the needles, just this a little bottle of ink like this is like from $75 to $100.
And how many heads?
And the thing is, see that's the thing. That little bottle of ink, if you're doing it the right way, it go 5 heads come, 5 heads, 6 heads come, then it's already gone. So you gotta buy another one. You know what I mean? And sometimes if it's not even that, even sometimes on 2 people that can go just because of the amount of when we dilute it, we have to put it like in a bigger cup, and then we mix it with a certain amount of dilution. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And that right there kind of wastes it all.
Yeah, and you can't reuse that ink. You can't use it with somebody else.
Same thing with the needles. We don't reuse needles. We don't reuse the inks. Everything that's on that table that we use gets thrown out. Boom, and then the needles get thrown into the sanitation boxes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we don't reuse anything. Nothing's reused at all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've heard that people have reused them and they close their shops.
That's horrible. That's disgusting. That is gross. Because it's like, bro, you think about it, it's blood. Sometimes it's not extreme blood, but there's still blood.
Still,
you know what I mean?
That's disgusting. A lady asked me once, I was gonna cut up her son, and she was like, "Hey, you guys use new blades?" I was like, "Yeah," and I showed her the packs, like we switch everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. Because back in the day, it was just that.
Yeah.
One blade with the leather.
Oh, yeah,
and that,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, but things have changed a lot.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, prices all depend on the amount of area we're filling in. You know what I mean? If you really want to get it done, you're willing to spend, to get it done properly, to get it done the right way. You know what I mean? If you want to be cheap about it and go to somebody's backyard or something like that. And I can't even say that either, but I can't say that, dog, because that's where I started, man. I started in the back of the garage,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I remember the first video we did together.
Hey, but I had to deck that up there, though.
Hey, that was a really nice spot. That's a really nice spot. I can't talk smack. That
definitely,
really nice.
But it was funny, though, because I used to have clients come, like random people come, and I used to be like, it's in 15th Street, 15th in Washington, and then on top of that, it's dark at night. They got to walk to the back alley if they got into the garage, and they're all looking, and then right, and then I open that door, and they're like, oh, they feel like easy. People be like, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous at first until you opened that door. I was just like, well, I'm glad you stayed around and stuck around. But yeah.
I can just imagine, man.
Man, it was hectic. That's why I decided to move. I had to get out of there because I'm starting to get guys paying more for the procedures. And I'm not gonna be in this area. You know what I'm saying? Some people that I told, I was like, hey, I got my own little studio that I built in the back of my house, and they won't even. They'll be like, oh, well, thank you. You know what I mean? That's it. So I should be like, dang, that's clients right there. I'm losing. I can be having. You know what I mean? Now that I got a solid location. It's way easier for me. Like, yo, come through at this time. I'm here. If you want to get a consultation, come through. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being all freaked out, like, man, you know what I mean? No, it was just a different vibe from your backyard, or your garage, to an actual location. You know what I'm saying? It was the best move I made.
Hey, and where can people find you now?
Right now I'm on in the 3rd Ward area. I'm on 2nd and between Washington and Monroe, 1012 South 2nd Street. You know, just a block away from Stenny's and stuff like that. There's these new beautiful apartments getting built over there too. So I'm in that area, the construction area. But you can definitely find me there. You know, my sign's out in front. But yeah, so come through whenever you feel like. Hit me up. You know, appointments only. That way you're safe. Everybody, you don't have to deal with anybody being like, oh, who's that? Oh, that dude's gonna get. No, it's all like closed doors. You don't gotta deal with nothing. You don't gotta be embarrassed about anything. But yeah,
basically one-on-one consultation.
One-on-one consultation. You don't gotta deal with nobody being there. You know, if you're a little sketched out about it, like you don't want nobody knowing what you're getting done. It's a closed doors atmosphere. No walk-ins, nothing like that. It's only by appointment only. So it's just me and you one-on-one, and we talk. You tell me anything. If you have anything you gotta express, or if you have any questions or anything you feel like, oh, I've seen this or that, I can answer them for you. And just yeah.
All right. Any Instagram, social media, Facebook?
Instagram, you can follow me on Skalpx. What's that little hashtag in the underscore Milwaukee. You can find me on there. You can see all my pictures and stuff, some before and afters. I have some amazing work on there. On Facebook too, you can Skalpx Milwaukee on Facebook. But yeah, or you can even my personal Alex Ander. I'm always posting stuff on there. Alex Ander Be the Wet. I'm always posting certain pictures and stuff, videos on there too. So, yeah.
So guys, you know where to find him already. You guys heard him. He does great, amazing work. Check him out. You guys won't regret it. Thanks for listening to the 5th episode of A Dreamer's Life podcast.
All right. See ya.
Alex.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
You already know, man.